Up here real quick, though, just as a reminder, since it's now every 2 weeks, sometimes maybe people forget. So anytime a question comes to mind that you would like us to, I don't know, try to answer, participate in, chat about, we could come up with all sorts of different ways to go about this. But if you've got a question, you'd like to present it to us for Q&A with TNA, go to oursuccessgroup.com/QA. Yes, as Todd is pointing right down below us there, and put your questions in. So looks like we've got some questions here to get us through tonight, and we'll see if we get through them all or not. Just depends on how long we want to go.
Yeah, well, we can be done with them in 4 minutes, I think, but we know that's not happening.
Yeah,
Come on,
totally. Exactly. Yeah, just set your clocks for about an hour, and we should be good to go.
Yeah, right.
Mayra, hello, and Pilar, and all right, working while listening. Excellent. Well, we'll speak up for you then.
Speaking over,
oh, geez, I did not go there.
Wow.
Pilar.
Is that what you're saying? Now that she's older, she can't hear.
Nope. Not at all what I was saying, Todd. Richard, hello. Good to see you, sir. It's been a while. Hopefully you are doing well. All right, Todd, you ready for the first one?
Let's go.
All right. Actually got to get that off first. And here is the question. What is DTF? I have no idea.
do we have to be like,
yes.
Down to Fiesta. Yes. And Dylan, she shook her Macarenas over here, her mariachis or whatever. That would be, I'm assuming that it's direct transfer film.
Direct to film. Yes.
Direct to film, direct transfer film, direct. It's not down to Fiesta.
Not down to Fiesta. Thank you, Corey, for keeping this on track. Digital transfer film, Rhonda says. So,
yeah.
Hello, Rhonda, by the way, coming in from Australia, bright and early in the morning over there, I believe.
Well, that's what it is. Let's move on.
Digital transfer film. So what do you know about it?
So from my understanding of it, the best way I can explain it is think of a DTG, but instead of it going on a garment, it's going on a film. Then the film will go through a powder, and then that powder needs to be set. It needs to be cured, so you can either do that with the heat press or run it through a dryer, and then from there, there's a transfer ready to go. I've been looking at it. I have not told you that because I know you would have talked me out of it months ago. But it was more. I heard it brought up, and I was like, "What is this?" And of course, all the cool stuff comes from China with no support. So why even go that far into it? And I'm seeing that there's starting to be some U.S. importers that are offering some support with it, where you can buy decent enough converted printers for about $2,000 to $3,000. You can get the ones in from China that have where it goes off the roller and it has the big shaker of all the powder, and then goes on from there. And those between $7 and $10. I don't know. I'm not 100% sold on it yet. I think just because it is so new, but from the people that I in the groups that I'm in and that I've seen doing it, they're doing awesome at it. And a lot of them are, for what they've got into it, they said, it paid for itself within the first 2 months. And then after that, it's just profit coming out. So even if it goes to crap, they know that they can do it again, and they're learning about it as they go. So
yeah,
it's definitely in its infancy. So it kind of reminds me of, where was DTG when it first started? And that's where I kind of think this could be. And so it's scary, but if it's using the same type of technology, then, hey, a lot of that was already figured out beforehand. So hopefully now it'll be a little easier. So that may show up at my house while Aaron is on vacation, so he can't tell me no. And
can't talk you out of it.
Can't talk me out of it if you're not here.
The hilarious part is you really can buy anything that you want, Todd. It's your money, and I'm. I just try to talk some sense into you from time to time.
I know, and sometimes as Corey gives you a big thumbs up for that.
Yeah, right.
There's sometimes,
high five, Corey.
With this, it's one of those where since we already do a good business with transfers, it kind of fills that spot, because a lot of the stuff on the smaller, when somebody wants to do a left chest, a 3x3, and then wants some wording in it, you're not weeding that. You're just not going to do it, because one, the detail is so small, and at the time to do it, it's just not worth it to do. So there are ones like that we turn around that we turn down unless it's a full one piece. So this kind of fills that spot in there. So it doesn't look like, crazy cost on inks or supplies or anything like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm curious about. What are the supply costs? Because film, if you're that film looked like to me like the kind of film that they use in the AB process of a white toner transfer.
Yep.
And those things are crazy expensive. You got $5 for a 13 by 19 pack. Set.
The supplies weren't really that much. I think for like a full, in that, once again, it's depending where you're getting it from.
Okay.
That's the thing there. A complete ink set on it, like 8 ounces of ink on each one. That's the other thing is I don't know how much ink this is going to burn through if it goes through a lot or not. It was like $180 for a full set of ink. They're converting the Epson L1800. I think that's what it is. They convert that. That's a 6-color Epson. And I think they're using 2 channels of white in it. So you're getting that white with it there. Water-based ink, so you don't have to worry about clogging as much. But hey, it is white. You're gonna have that.
DTG's water-based ink too, and at the beginning it was water-based ink. So anytime you put white in a system, look out.
Yeah. So when I looked at, I think that like a 25-pound box of the powder, I don't think that was much, maybe $50 or so. I'm gonna see it. Let me pull it up.
All right, that's fine. I mean, these are the big questions for me, because interestingly enough, when I first saw it, I think it was Grant that actually was the first one I saw post about it. Rhonda said she's got one arriving. So Rhonda, we're going to need the full rundown. Maybe maybe we'll get Rhonda on one of these things and just have her go through it for us. So, anyways, I guess the thing that came to mind was that, like, yeah, I'd never heard of it. I went and asked all of my friends that are in the DTG world what they knew about it. Nobody had seen it before.
So,
which is interesting, because it seems like it'd be a competitor to DTG at the highest stand.
And where I seen it at was, so the first time I heard it was there. What is it? The YouTube guy, Empires and something. I'll have to find the information on that. But he did a lot of DTG and transfers and things like that. And in fact, he's running his DTG. I think he still has his DTG. But I heard about it through that. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
And then I think Supacolor is what that is based off of. I think the Supacolor transfers are based off of that as well, where it's because that's from the things that I'm seeing and the way that they're used and the way that it's getting to people, because of course, I haven't seen anything on their back end on how it's being produced. Just seeing on the finished side, and it looks a lot like the same process, and it makes sense for what it is. So looking at this powder, so for a pound of DTF powder, it's $25.
Would you ever have an issue where that gets, I've got a pound of this powder versus another white powder that you don't want to be importing?
I don't know. I never thought that way.
I'm just thinking about what trouble you could run into here. So, all right. While you're looking that up, though, I'm going to also throw some other questions out here, because I don't know the answer, and we're going to find the answers for this, and Todd's going to have one of these things apparently. So 1st of December, we'll be talking about it and showing it off. But
paper's like $2 a thing. It looks like papers from this place. It's like $2 a sheet. So,
all right.
I mean, I think it's going to be like anything else. A lot of the one that I saw was all in that they had it set up for rolls. So, they print off a roll and go from there, which we all know when you can print off a roll is going to be way cheaper as well. So there's still more. It seems like every day I'm finding out more and more information on it, and I'm not too sure about dropping $8,000 on a big one.
I was gonna say, and at what point does it? Yeah, like all of that extra work and steps and time and powder and that, because you're not getting too far away from what the cost of a DTG machine is.
Right. But the big difference there is where you supply it at, where it's like me with transfers. Currently we print them out, we ship them out to people. So then, one of our biggest factors with everything is shipping. With DTG, you do an amazing job at DTG. But if somebody were to send you, 100 hoodie order, I mean, what's what's the shipping
Not
cost
happening.
going to be that on that,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you get that now. If I could do 100 transfers and send it out, so I think it fills that good detail spot for that smaller stuff. And the wearability and stretchability, washability, everything looked really good with it. So I mean,
Okay.
I've spent 3,000 on less stuff that that I'd never used. So
Corey, I'm trying. I'm working on this. Corey said.
I'll spend it.
I'll get my list together and we'll go. I'm always good at coming up with the cons for some reason. I don't know.
I'm just thinking content wise. If there's not a lot of stuff out there, guess what? Be the content king with it.
There you go. There you go.
We're going to bring more people into our family, and hey, then it's worth it. So now it becomes a marketing expense. So I'm going to spend $2,500 on marketing while you're gone, and that's what we're going to do.
Great. All right. So Valerie says, what's the advantage of that versus screen print transfers?
I believe it's going to be lower cost because on your more colors that you're going to get, most of them require more quantity to get a better price.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not sure necessarily cost like per piece, but setup cost is what the advantage would be as far as I could tell.
Right, because you've got, you think, if it's a sheet size, it's whatever you're going to put on it, just like that. But if I need 10 of them, but say there's 7 colors in it, okay, how many screen setups do you have? Everything do you have on that back side of it there for just, 7 transfers or 10 transfers or whatever? It's really not worth it, when you factor all the extra screen costs in it. So I think that kind of just fills that void of where it's at. Because in the larger runs, screen print, I don't think you'll ever be able to beat, because just what it is, once you get there, if you've got less than 3 colors, then you're pretty good to go with anything on screen printing. When you start getting more than that, there's just more screens that are involved. So how many if you're doing, 150 transfers and 8 colors a piece, then sure. But if you're doing, 8 colors on 8 transfers, then it just doesn't make sense on it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, your setup and all that kind of fun stuff. All right. Let's see here. Heidi said, is the same true if you need to print a lot for it? Yeah, meaning the clog, and that would be my other concern. Again, anytime you put white ink into a system that, now I don't know a whole lot about the L1800, if those extra channels were meant for white ink to begin with or not.
I'm not 100% sure. I didn't look that. From the people that I've seen that have had them, they said that as long as you're printing at least something with all colors once a week, that you're seem to be fine. So, I mean, I think it's the same along the lines of if you have a converted Epson, that you need to be printing something at least once
I was
a
going
week.
to say this sounds more and more like the early days of DTG. Exactly. Oh, as long as you print once a week, you're going to be fine.
And see, that's the thing is I heard all those horror stories before. So I'm thinking they're pretty much using the same equipment now. The technology's there, so maybe they've learned some things along the way. But there's a couple different places, and a lot of the stuff's coming out of China with no support. And then the other thing that we're seeing is, on the RIP software, there's some RIP softwares that are coming with it that are total pirated versions that don't work for anything. And some of the other ones said, hey, you go get yourself a good RIP software. And that is a total game changer for doing it. So that's something else to look at too.
All right, cool. Well, enjoy, Todd. I will be steering. No, I'm just kidding. It would be interesting to see. Like I said, I've got all the questions, so I'm hoping that it works out. And again, just looking through the comments here, Rhonda's all in, so we may be leaning on Rhonda to be our go-to. She says, Valerie, GTF, you can easily do one print where screen print, there are massive setup costs, which what we talked about. It doesn't crack and has a good give in it. Says, I'm getting the L1800. It's just under 3,000 Australian. So do the quick math on that, Todd. I'm kidding. All right. Yeah. So, Mike, hello. Thanks for joining us. And Martha, appreciate you being here. And Gary, appreciate you checking in as well. All right. So have we covered what is DTF? Are we good?
I think so for now,
Okay.
until we get it. And that's why I think, it'll be something interesting to see. And if anything, I think it'll provide some content to us. And that's always a plus there. 3,000 Australian comes to $21.91 08 US.
Gotcha.
So,
Perfect. There we go.
yeah, that's about what I was looking at. And from the other things that I've seen is it's big everywhere else in the world but here. I mean, that's where, of course, in Asia, it's like it's second nature over there. It's almost when you see any of those training videos on it, it's like the guy in his factory house with everything there, and they're doing the videos. I don't understand it, but I can see the process and how it works. And then it seemed Australia, there's quite a few people down there that had them. Europe had some, Western or Eastern Africa too. So I think it's just spreading its wings and going from there. And hey, what's worse? I bought a bone acre. Let's.
All right. I like your positivity. All right, Ron. Oh, sorry. Ronnie says, I've been told works better if you use daily, but my supplier said there's a flushing system to keep the white usable. That always scares me as to flushing. Toilets flush. So if that happens to be my money.
But hers flushed the other way.
It goes the other way. Yeah.
So it's okay.
Yep. And Gary, you'll have to rewind. We've been talking about what DTF is for the last probably 15 minutes or so now. It basically it stands for direct to film or
Fiesta. I see direct transfer film is what I've seen. I've seen direct transfer film.
Okay.
I don't, they can't even agree on the what it stands for. So I don't there's, I don't know. It's definitely something. The stretchability on it is what I saw was crazy. And one of the things that people always say about is that things don't fade and crack. Well, I've seen plenty of shirts. Doesn't matter the application that have turned out bad. And a lot of it becomes and proper application or proper shirt selection. But these ones, hey, I'm sure there's going to be some screw ups in there, but I think it's going to be a fun process. And I'm just trying to keep talking myself into it.
All right. All right, Corey, I'll get to work, so don't worry. So, it's interesting when you talk about cracking and stretching and stuff like that. It was always so interesting to me to see people come up. It was when we were very first coming out with direct to garment stuff onto Dark Garments. Everybody wanted to just yank the crap out of the shirt. I'm like, at what point are you guys going to rip the shirt and that's going to prove to you that this stretches? It's like, when do you ever, I can't remember a time where I've ever taken my shirt and tried to He-Man it to a point where it's why do we do that?
People are like, oh, see, does this? I'm like, well, who the hell wears a shirt like that? I mean, my shirt wears like this, and if you wear the right size shirt, I mean, you get me in a baby small, and guess what? That's going to stretch. It's going to do what it's going to do. I mean, it's amazing, And at the end of the day, I'm like, wait, I have, here's a $25 shirt, and you're complaining, that it might crack or this. But man, if they don't have a problem, spending $75 on that Nike hoodie where the logo's off centered here and there's strings coming out from here, and it's just like, thanks, Nike, thank you, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Terry, thanks for being here. Appreciate you joining us. All right, you ready for the next one, Todd?
Yep.
You ready for the next question this evening? Okay. What was your number one takeaway from the MBM breakaway session today?
From my first one, it was to try to not log on from a mobile device because of the way that they had it set up going through that third party. It would not take anything in. So I didn't even get in for like 20 minutes because I was trying to do everything on my phone and then the iPad. It just wouldn't go. And I was so pissed. But then once I got in, then everything came out. It started working well. My biggest takeaway was what I expected. Hearing from Samar that says, hey, fleece is going to be a problem this year. We kind of all knew that going into it. So, if there's any orders that you have, make sure that the inventory is there before you're selling these orders, because, you might be ordering from not only multiple warehouses, but there might even be multiple lines. There might be, you can only get the sweatshirt in this color and this size in this manufacturer, and you're going to have to go from there. So those things need to be, told to your customers so they know, what they're getting themselves into.
Yeah.
It's just, we knew when COVID started in March that we really wouldn't start seeing the effects of it until now, because a lot of places had that big manufacturer build up from it. But as things slow down, those stockpiles dwindle. And now here we are, just having fun with it. But I think that was my biggest takeaway. Was just to realize that it was good to hear somebody acknowledge, hey, this is what's going on, and this is what we're doing, and we're doing the best that we can with it. So that was good to hear there. What about you? Would you take away from it?
Well, basically everything I said. No, I'm just kidding. Totally kidding. I'm kidding.
I didn't listen to anybody else.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't hear anybody else, so I can just no. Oh wow, I gotta fix that. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I've got a lot of studio cleanup to do here yet. All right. So before we do that, Dottie, hello. Thank you for being here. Appreciate that. And honestly, I'd like to also hear anybody else that had an opportunity to attend. You know, I certainly took a lot of things. In fact, I made some notes that I've got right here. But what you guys also took away from it? You know, what were some of the things that stood out to you? You know, I again, not an embroiderer, don't have a desire to be an embroiderer, but I certainly love the process, and I think it's a great way to make money if you're a decorator. So one of the takeaways I took was Jennifer Cox talking about how to set up a design. I had no idea. You know, I definitely, you know, would have. So the fact that you have to digitize to the specific thing you're going on, you know, each time kind of thing, I thought was interesting. I don't, you know, obviously I don't know how, you know, where that falls into everybody's system and whatnot, but I thought that was pretty interesting and something new that I learned. And then the other thing that I took away from it, and I don't think this was said directly, but it was something that I kind of inferred after listening to everybody, was I think a big part of what we do as decorators, and honestly, to me, it's probably what separates a business from a hobbyist, or somebody, you know, still trying to break into being a profitable business, is the fact that no matter what decorating process you're doing, that learning about it, understanding it. You know, I liked what Vicky said about being a heat press junkie, you know, so it, depending on what you're doing, you know, for me, I love doing sublimation. So I'm a sublimation junkie, and I try to eat and take in as much as I can about sublimation all the time, and yada, yada, yada. So anyhow, back to my point here. The point being is that as we're kind of starting and we're a new business or a hobbyist or whatnot, that's kind of an art to us. You know, we're playing, we're trying, we're making mistakes, but we're trying new things. We're pushing the limits. Again, it's an art. You know, it's really kind of a creative process. But where we go to become a profitable business, the way to turn the corner a lot of ways, and again, this is what I took from the things people were saying, is that we need to take that art and turn it into a repeatable process that we can do over and over again with that limited spoilage, and just be able to repeat that and get quicker and faster at the whole process. So that was a big thing for me, was just, I don't know, it felt to me like in a lot of things that people were saying throughout the course of the conversation, it did boil down to learn it, understand it, dig into it, go deep dive, and then make it something that you're great at. And it's a process, and you do it over and over, and you do it well. So,
okay. Now, how long is that available for? That one,
14 days is what they said. Yeah. So it'll be 14 days. So anybody else that saw anything, you have any takeaways from it? We'd love to hear that. Let's see here. Yeah. So that was my main note. I had art to repeatable process. So that was the big one that I had. So Todd, what else do we got here? What you want to go to the next question?
Sure. Let's go to the next question. What else we got?
All right, let me put that in there. But anyhow, while I'm putting that in there, again, if you guys had a chance to check it out, I'd love to hear the feedback. I'd love to hear what you guys thought. You know, I'm not sure if a lot of people were having difficulties getting in like Todd. I don't think we actually got to a lot of viewer questions. So I'm curious to see if anybody will actually follow up and ask any specific questions. So, it just seemed like we got going, and then it was like, okay, it's an hour. I'm like, oh crap, that was fast.
That's how a lot of those go. I mean, look at us. Here we've answered 2 questions and we're a half hour in. It's
Yeah, but that's my fault, and I didn't get to talk that much this morning.
right. You gotta figure there was what, 6? There's 7. There was 6 and a moderator on there. Is that right?
Sounds about right. Let's see.
So realistically, by the time you give your introductions and you give your exits and that, there's 50 minutes, by 6 people, you're getting, 8 minutes of talk time apiece. There's not a whole lot of talk time in there. So, you got to fight for every minute you can get. So it's one of those where I would like to see future going forward when they do panels like that to maybe not have as many people. So that way you can get, more interaction with the people, because they, there's limited time. So when you're only doing it for an hour, it's tough. Now with the live ones, it seems to be great, because you can have that there and questions are asked in there. But in the virtual one, I think a lot of it is, we know, we kind of have preloaded questions that we know we're going to talk about or that are going to be asked, and you're good to just get the content from there. And you're asking, something from everybody. Well, sometimes somebody might only talk 5 minutes and that was it, and you really wanted to hear more. So I think if they were to maybe have 2 or 3 people and just allow, I think it allows for more fun that way. But
yeah.
What do I know?
Yeah. I enjoy the panel too, but like you said, yeah, if you can do that, because you have to have some kind of preloaded questions. But honestly, to me, the fun in that and the thing that makes it just it makes it useful is to have the viewer or the attendee questions, and just have them, because that makes it a conversation as opposed to me just answering some preloaded question. So I've got all my preloaded questions. I'm going to turn it into a blog post. So
yeah, when pre-COVID, I think when how many trade shows did you do it at this year? 1 or 2 before everything shut down that you had where you did the Q&A panel? Was it only 1?
Just one this year.
I mean, I loved how that turned out. To hear the people there, that interact, the people that didn't go, through the questions coming in. It seemed like a good thing, and that was something like, oh yeah, this could turn into something really big and fun. From each place, each trade show, there would be a different panel of people, and it'd be some fun things going back and forth. Because sometimes I at least know on my side, when you go and you see a presenter and that, that there's some people that you can go to every year, walking at the presentation at the same time every year, they're in the exact same spot. You just keep, it's just that same information that they keep going, because there's always a new batch of people that haven't got it, which makes sense, But having that, here's something new. Like, let's talk about this. Let's throw a question out there, and hey, what do you think about that? I don't know. I haven't thought about that. And so then it brings up that new conversation, and I think those always lend to be the great things. It's like the bar conversation afterwards without the bar. So
yeah, exactly. Now I had a blast week. So it was only at one show. We only were able to do it at DAX Kansas City, but we had both days that we did one. So we did 2 of them.
Gotcha.
And I learned a ton too. So. I was excited to actually get to to Minnesota and Chicago and see if the improvements that I came up with would make it better, because we had some challenges with the audio and then having both live interaction and the folks on mic and stuff like that. So hey, I was the AV tech guy and doing the best that I could. So Dottie says, I love sublimation and now laser cutting on sublimation together. I love designing for both. Once I make a design, it's easy. I just wait for the cha-ching on my shop. She did not get to see the panel discussion today. So I thought it was a good time though, still, and again, those people that I got to be up there with, certainly some really sharp people. So it was cool. All right, let's get to the next question, Todd. Does that sound good? All right. Sure. Wow. Easy for me to say. Any good ideas for increasing end of the year business?
Sell more stuff.
That's it. Dude, boom. Check.
Sell more stuff.
I'll mark that off.
Okay, perfect. Next, I think a lot of it depends on what your niche is, because what I can't say, hey, pet bowl maker guy, you should, now be making coats for people. Why? I just do pet bowls. So a lot depends on what your niche and what you're selling to. I think something that if anybody's doing sports, one of the things that we're doing, since we haven't had sports forever, and chances are we're going to go under a lockdown in 14 days. So 14 days from Friday, unless things change. I think Illinois is going to have another stay-at-home order in place. Right now, it's even worse, but we're going to reopen all of our team stores. And so, the schools, they're not going to school and that, but we always did good at Christmas, where there's people buying stuff, for their kids for sports and that, and they would come into the store and do it. Well, hey, let's just put all that stuff online. We've already got it. Why not just put it all there and then direct the people to that? So to still try and create that buzz with our normal things that we do during Christmas, and now just moving them to an online format.
Yeah.
Any of those upsells, any of those things that you can add to do more. If somebody is getting a hoodie, can you also sell them a T-shirt? If they're getting a T-shirt, can you upsell them to a hoodie? Is their end of year? This year might even be a little different on the business side of things, because how many people are still working from home, and I think a lot of businesses haven't spent the money that they have in years past, and they might have that money sitting around to buy their employees something nice for, a crazy year. So the B2B part, I think, is always a good thing. And the thing I like most about that is most of the time you're doing, one thing, one shirt design, one, mug design, one of anything, and you're doing it, 5, 10, 25, 100, 500, and that's it. So it's pretty simple to do, and they're good money makers. So it's kind of things we're looking at. Things we're pushing, we're going to do. So we have our hoodie special, then we'll have our Christmas hoodie special that I'm going to try and have out. I wanted to have it out by Monday, but I'm shooting for Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to do a leather hat promotion, or leather patch hat promotion. I'm working with Renee on that. So we're just putting out bundles, so that way, everything, every bundle is going to be not less than $300. So you sell one of those a day, you're doing good, and it should be fun.
Cool. Bundling. I like it.
Yeah.
You and Flo, right? From
yeah.
Yep. There we go.
Jimmy, I do everything,
I love it. So I'm going to steal something that I heard on the panel discussion today, and you kind of alluded to it a little bit, but this work from home kit idea, like when I heard Jennifer Cox mention that, I was like, oh man, that's a good idea. That's a really good idea. And it is just like you said, some folks have sat on some funds because they, of the uncertainty of things, and they're starting to get towards the end of the year, and they need to, get some spending done, and all they kind of are settling in. So they've got some things to spend, and like Todd said, thanking their employees for kind of sticking with them through a crazy time. Maybe they had to furlough some people, maybe they are able to bring some people back, and all that kind of stuff. So an at-home kit, like you said, a mug, a mouse pad, hoodie, a polo shirt, hat, whatever it is that's appropriate for that particular company. But if you hit some of these, these are going to be your probably your mid-size businesses, smaller to mid-size businesses. You thinking about people that have, my guess is just kind of spitballing some things, and I'm sure you can find different numbers, but this would be my target for it. I would look for businesses that are 25 to 100 employees, something like that. And, people that are in the kind of accountants, attorneys, IT kind of companies, things like that, where they do have a lot of at-home workers, that they don't have to, it's not a manufacturing facility where they have to have people there in their facility. So those would be my targets for that kind of a program. And like Todd said, make it a bundle, make it show up and say, okay, per employee, it's X number of dollars. They're going to get all this. We'll personalize these 4 out of the 8 things or whatever, and we'll make sure it gets to them. And so you guys don't have to do anything, touch it, none of that other stuff. We're just going to, have it show up. Maybe you have it show up in a wrapped package, so it's like a Christmas present. I mean, it could do a lot of cool things with that for sure.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good one.
Yep. So, get out there and do that. And I'll, Todd, you can go ahead and take care of the fulfillment for me on all that stuff, right? So if I go and sell a bunch of this, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
that's. I think should be everybody's goal is to just not work and have somebody else do it for you, right? I mean,
Nice.
why not?
That is my goal. You keep trying to send me stuff, and I keep saying, "No, stop! I don't want anything else."
I want everything just to know how it works.
I
So if there's any
understand.
sponsors out there that want to test equipment, send it our way. I will definitely test it out for you. And I can
Send it to
back.
Todd. Sorry, send it this way, right over here. I'll even give you his address. All right.
How does this work? And is it something, because I think a lot of people get sold on that, where they're there and here you go. You can, you can make a great living just doing this. And now I'll sell you the equipment and see you later. Well, we provide the training on the backside to help you become a successful business. But there's still that training aspect where somebody asked me an embroidery question. I don't know. I don't even know what you're talking about. What do you mean? Like,
So embroidery is where you take thread and it makes a pattern and yeah.
Like, I want to know. It's all. I just want to know. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, that's where you and I differ. I want to know the people that know and then step out of the way. So, all right. Rhonda, help me out here. I'm a little lost. Can you give me some advice on stall for a large group? Can you help explain what that is? Todd, you have any ideas there?
I wonder if a stall would be like a space for like a craft show or something.
Yes, indeed. You are exactly right. And in fact, that's exactly what they call trade show booths in other parts of the world. So I apologize for missing that. All right, there you go. Maybe Rhonda, correct us if we're wrong.
So I think if that, once again, it depends on the niche and the place that the booth stall, if we're thinking the same thing, where it is. Sometimes a lot of it just depends on the people that go to them. It's know your people. You're not going to sell the same stuff that you would at an all women's group that you would in an all men's group. So I think it's just knowing your market and what's there, and it's tough. I think there's people that do the craft shows week in, week out. Those are the people that really deserve a lot, because they have to, each week they don't know what's going to sell. They're projecting that things are going to sell and do it. And about the only thing that they know is going to sell are the people that do the copyright stuff, because everybody buys that. Nobody, it irritates the hell out of me. But it's tough, to get that, because you can take 10 of this and guess what? They wanted 10 of that. And the next time you take 10 of that and they wanted 10 of this. So it's a tricky thing. Now, when we did them for sports, we knew, hey, when we go there with softball, it was all softball shirts, softball and a few baseball shirts, but we weren't taking any of other, soccer or basketball or football or anything like that. We just focused on, the sport at hand and just went with that, kept it simple.
Nice. Okay. All right. So 500 people freaking out. She said it's a dance end of year concert.
Dance end of year. So I would, as much bling as you can, because
so all dancers and parents and other things, bling, sparkly.
It's very fashion stuff. Your basic T-shirt isn't going to cut it. You want something a little more. And that's the other thing is down in Australia, I don't know, what they have access to. Here in the States, a lot of our go-to stuff, would be like Boxercraft. That's kind of, a lot of the go-to for that fashion forward, things where you can still get it, Sanmar and SNS and places like that. But, Boxercraft is pretty good for, hey, that's something that's there, and you're going to pay more for it, but your customers are going to, expect to pay more for it as well. So I think anything fashion forward, anything blingy, sparkly, anything, that's not, that what somebody else is doing always seems to do well.
Yeah, definitely. And if Janessa's around, Janessa, we'd love to hear your feedback on this. Anybody else has feedback for Rhonda, you go ahead and put it in the comments and we'll share it, regardless if you're on Facebook or otherwise. So we can kind of keep that going. Jerry, when we were talking about the at-home kits for companies, says we do the same thing for teams, calling them player packs, hoodies, t-shirts, sweatpants, hats, etc. So there you go, Jerry. Sports might not be as prolific right now, so just change up that player pack and make it a coworker pack or something like that. So
come up with a catchy name on that.
Yeah,
pack,
that was just off the top of my head, Todd.
Yeah, You did good. I mean,
I'm just kidding.
it was a solid C, and C's earned degrees, so I think it's fine.
Nice. That's what I've been shooting for my whole life. Solid C's.
Man.
All right. Valerie says, this is for you, Todd. You need to be a professional product tester. You're like Tom Hanks and big.
So there's my used equipment guy. I showed you those pictures.
Yeah, you did. Showed me them.
Oh, yeah. He's got like a 2,000 square foot just training center type thing of stuff coming. I'm like, that's what I need. I just need that so I can, here, I'm going to test out this machine, and I want to do this one, and I want to do with that. And I'd be amazing. I would love to do that. And it would be great if somebody would want to send me stuff and for me to do that. And then it'd be even better if they'd let me give it away to people. So if anybody is listening that would like to have a product tester give stuff away, I mean, I think I can think of somebody who would do that.
All right. So we now know. All right. So we're putting it out there. We're putting that out there. That's Todd's goal. So he is a goal setter, as you can tell. There you go. And Eugene says, bring back the beard.
Eventually, maybe. We'll see.
That's a definite maybe, I think is what we just got right there.
Definite maybe.
All right. Todd, how many Curtis, this is funny. Todd,
Yes.
Can you contour cut on a Cameo?
You can. In fact, I messed it a little bit more, and I got it. What it was is where I had it set before. Somebody had mentioned, the glare. Like literally yesterday was the first time I tried contour cutting. I'm like, what can go wrong? And the first time I did it, I nailed it. Second time I did it, nailed it. So then why would I think I need to keep practicing on this? This is working great. And then it wasn't until somebody mentioned the glare, and I realized, oh yeah, I had this turned the other way, and I bet 100% that's what it is. Moved it, and yeah, it did just fine. So
no problems after that. There you go.
Okay.
Well, learn something new right there.
Yep.
And Martha's vote is for no beard.
No beard.
I'm with
What
you.
if I just go chops? I'm thinking,
Oh boy.
just go the chops.
Wow.
That would look good, right?
I don't know. I'm Corey, I'm sorry. All right. So Todd, let's see. Do we got time for one more question here?
Sure. I think we
All right.
got as many questions as you want.
No, I think one should do it. Any particular one on there that you want to grab?
I don't care. I think we can do them with any of them.
All right, let's do line. So here's your lucky numbers: 143, 145, 146, or 147.
So you could have just said 3, 5, 6, or 7 to make it easy.
Fine. 3, 5, 6, or 7. Give us the shout out. Pick a number, any number. Well, now we are discussing the beard, Todd. So we can talk about that for a little bit. It says no beard. You look younger without it.
Well, I did get married this year, so I don't need to be looking for I guess if it makes me look younger.
Just because you look younger doesn't mean you're out on the prowl, Todd. So it's okay.
Whatever. Of course not.
All right. Anybody got a number for me? 3, 5, 6, or 7?
3, 5, 6.
Corey, pick a number. 3, 5, 6, or 7. Oh.
She's tired of staring at my clean-shaven face.
All right, Todd. Well, you can see it, so you're cheating. All right, any number, pick a number, any number. No, it's okay. 7. There we go. Got it.
7.
Martha is the winner with the first number. Lauren, sorry, Martha beat you to it. So we're gonna go with 7. We'll come back, and I think this one's probably. Oh boy. I should have left this one off, but that's okay. Oh, hold on. Paste, copy, paste. Come on, thing. Let's do this. Okay. Not necessarily even a question either. It's always fun to have the third-party sublimation ink debate. Discuss.
Go for it. In fact, I'm hoping that on Tuesday with Todd, we'll be giving away some third-party ink from Driven by Graphics. It's the ink that I'm using now. And converting Epson for it. And I believe he also has ink for sawgrasses. So if you're out of warranty on your sawgrass, you can use that as well. I haven't had any issues with it. Color profiles are working good. If I haven't used it for a couple days, I run a head clean. Everything works out fine from there. I'm not getting any crazy colors or anything. And I didn't have to do anything, to go in and change this profile or that profile. So I've been happy with the ink so far. It was value right. So, the places that I know and trust to get third-party ink from. I guess there's two ways to look. The places that I would not order ink from is I would not order ink from eBay, and I would not order ink from Amazon, because unless it's somebody that you know that you're getting it from and they have everything, most of those you're not getting any support with. It's just here you go, you're stuck with it.
All right.
Places that I have dealt with, Driven by Graphics, the ink, he's been testing it now for 3-4 months. So it's everything's been coming out clean there. Sublimation Cove, so Cosmos Inks, Ink Owl, and Cobra Ink. So those are the 4 places that I've dealt with for third-party inks. Those 4 places I haven't had any issues with. And so far, hey, that's my real-world discussion about it.
All right. And how many times have you replaced your printer?
So
how
in
often?
5 years, I am on printer number 3.
5 years, printer number 3. Okay. All right.
You're gonna get 1 to 2 years out of those 76 and 77 10s and 20s, because they weren't made for it. But when you factor in cost of ink and cost of printer, you're doing well. You're doing well. The other thing too is on the new Eco tanks, I don't believe you're having as many issues as you did on the previous cartridge systems, and certainly don't get the continuous ink system. Stay away from that, because if you don't have that where it needs to be, you're going to run into nothing but problems. Refilling ink cartridges is a complete pain in the butt. So on the Eco tanks, that takes care of that for you. And like I said, I'm a proponent that, if you're trying it out, go for it. Here's what it is. And if you get a Sawgrass, you're not going to have any issues. You're going to put it together and it's going to work. Now, I do know people that have had issues, but I don't care how great anything is, there's always somebody that's going to have an issue with something. For the most part, Sawgrass is plug it in, turn it on, print. Don't have to do anything else. It comes with great drivers, great support. You're going to be fine with it. Epson, you're converting stuff, so you have to be somewhat technical to know what you're doing with it and to figure things out. So it really depends on which way you want to go with it.
Yep. In fact, Rhonda mentions here, and obviously there could be several different factors at play here, but L18, why would my grays be a green? Then after 3 nozzle cleans, it went beige. No change with paper inks. I use Izumi. Obviously, I think there's some variables here that are probably at play. I'm not familiar with that ink. Is that a sublimation ink, Todd? Is that what we're talking about here? I'm guessing. Okay. I'm not familiar with that ink, Rhonda. So if I'm off here, then I apologize.
I'm going to Google
it. The couple things it could be, color profile shifted, maybe a software update in a design software or something like that, changed the color profile situation. And so your color profile is not matching up any longer, or it needs to be color profiled. Again, that's another one of the challenges that I have with third-party inks, is that from a color perspective, you've got to be able to do that yourself and kind of sometimes plug that stuff in. The other thing is that if it is sublimation, just make sure that you're regularly checking the temperature on your press, as far as is it really actually transferring at the time that you think it is? Because grays, when they go green, a lot of times mean that it's actually being under pressed, that it's not getting enough heat. So, I use the little heat strips and check that on a pretty regular basis, especially when you start getting some color shifts like this without other variable changes. So those would be the 2 main things that I would look at in regards to Rhonda's question there.
Right. And then the other thing I'd look at too is where she got it from. Because we just did a quick search, and there's a place called Aftermath that's down there.
Okay.
And it looks like they have from me just looking to see the information so far from it, they look like a pretty legit company, somewhere along the lines of like an Ink Owl or a Cobra Ink or a Cosmos Ink, where they have the converted printers. Here's how it works. Here's the story. Here's here's everything with it. So if you buy from a place like that, you're probably going to have a lot better support than if you buy from a place like, direct from China, or eBay or wherever. So, with this one, like here, I'm seeing like this Nova Sublimation Australia. There's some specials, there's some printers, and that's the thing is globally, the US is behind on stuff. We think we got to have everything this way from this manufacturer and there. And then when you see stuff across seas, you're like, what the hell are they doing? Hey, wait a minute. You've got 37 things plugged in that outlet. You can't do that. And by God, do they do that? Wait. So you put that in the oven to make your mug, and you also are cooking your dinner in it too? Because I totally see, a meal in there. What the hell's going on? It's amazing to watch.
Yeah. All right. So got a couple. Brian, I think this is a really good point as well. It says, is a file RGB or CMYK? You do see that a lot too. So depending on how your color profile is set up, is it based on a CMYK or an RGB color space? And a lot of times, depending on what software you're using, you don't have as much control over that, or you don't even think about that. Somebody maybe sent you a file so that's a really good point, Brian. I like that one a lot. And then Rhonda did mention there was an update last week. So I would definitely check into the color profiles and make sure that all that's matching up. So hopefully that will help a little bit. All right, Todd. So my rebuttal to you, not necessarily, I thought it would be fun. So I do have some show and tell here. So Todd, let's say instead of being a decorator doing sublimation, your job was a contractor. Your job was to build walls.
Uh-huh.
And let's say you went and bought nails that looked like this, right?
Uh-huh.
And how would you use those nails?
I think I would need a nail gun for them.
Yeah, so you would have a professional quality nail gun that then you would take and stick these nails in there, and you would build your wall, right?
I'm going to crush you on this, but continue on.
All right, good. I was hoping you would. So you could do that. Now, you could also take these out of the box and then pull each one of these out, and then you could go and get your little toy hammer here, and you could build your wall that way. So both of them is going to get you to the same result, but which contractor is going to be more profitable and be more customer centric and be ready to act whenever their customers ask them to act?
It's not 100% true though, because
because
if you think, would you rather have a house built 100 years ago or a house built 5 years ago? Because 100 years ago they cared about quality, and 5 years ago they cared about the dollar. So that's where you see a lot of issues with it. Because if I'm having something built, if I can get the Amish here, I don't care what the hell they're doing. That thing's getting built, and it's getting built with no electricity. Well, take that back. We'll get the Mennonites, because the Mennonites will use the air tools. But a lot of it, depends on the person that's using it. Because if you don't know how to use that hammer, either one of them, you're going to build a crappy house. So.
Right.
The inks are the same. The printer is the same tool. The supplies are the same supplies, but it all comes down to the person using it. So,
gotcha. But see, when you're looking at this, though, regardless of the person using it, if I'm taking a single nail and a hammer and I'm building a wall, and the same person that's got the nail gun is also building a wall, and they're using the same material, they're using all of the other things, I'm going to be able to make a wall faster. I'm going to be able to make a wall more efficiently, and therefore I'm going to be able to charge you less because I'm more efficient. Yes, both of them could cut corners. I could just stick one nail in each of the 2x4s and hope that it's going to hold, because hammering away is really tiring,
But here's what you're trying to compare, and you're not realizing this. You were putting two different tools together. I'm using a physical tool that a hammer versus everything. Guess what?
Yeah.
Our printers are both printers. They both take ink. They're both printing out. So unless you have some super fast printer that's printing your stuff, you're not saving me a whole lot of time. In fact, you're probably costing me more money too because your ink's more expensive and your printer's more expensive. So it's going to take you longer to recoup that money.
No, because I'm not buying a printer every 2 years, and I have a process, and my machine turns on. It works every time I turn it on. I'm not worried about color profiles. I'm not getting changes from here to there. It works every day, all day, every day. So,
kind of. But
to me, the big argument here is, and again, this is in fun. We're having a good time. I am in no way, shape, or form against, if you can make it work. Todd makes it work every day. So I'm not arguing that you can't make it work. What I'm saying is, me, from my business perspective, the number crunching that I want to do is that I want to make sure that I'm not letting my cost concerns get in the way of my overall business setup. As far as, am I spending more money to save $1 on this? And that's where the question comes.
Zeros to the back of that, because you figure, if your SG-1000 is going to cost you $1,500,
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to spend $1,500, spend another $1,000 and go ahead and get the 24-inch Epson, because that just makes sense. Because for you go $1,000 either way. Either don't spend an extra $1,000 and get like a 7610 for $300, then some ink, and you're going to be in it less than $1,000. So that means I could buy that system 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, still not be to the cost of that Sawgrass. And I'm going to have a lower overall cost.
Yeah. Well, we can play that game the other way and get into a 44-inch printer. And by the time you've bought sets of inks, even with the third-party inks, by the time you've bought a certain number set of inks, you've covered your cost difference between those printers on up to a 44-inch. When you start looking at, inks that are 75, 80, 90 at most a liter. I know people buying them for 65 a liter.
Yeah, and because that's on the same thing, on the wide format printing with us, our original Roland cartridges, what were they? Were they the 220 milliliter cartridges? And they were 137, somewhere around there, like 130 for a cartridge. We first got that for a 220 milliliter cartridge. Now we are getting 880 milliliters for $87. And the reason that we switched to it was because our local sign supplier, that's what they have in stock. That's what they're putting in all their used machines that they're selling now. So I have the support back there, and that's a lot of ink when you go from here to 4 times as much what we were getting before, and we're at half the cost. Yeah, these ink places are making a killing off ink.
For sure. Here's my main thing. I'll end my part at this. Here's my main thing is, I just want businesses to make sure they understand that if your business is sublimation, then you have to understand that the tool you use for your business is an investment. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's not a cost decision. It's an investment decision. So don't let the fact that you want to save money cloud your decisions, because again, we'll go out and spend money on something that is different to us, that's important to us in a different way, and not think about it. But yet for some reason, when we're talking about these jumps in, yes, they're big jumps, but at the same time, this is your business. So I guess my main point is, I just want people to understand the mindset shift. If you can save money and make it work, please do it. But make sure that you're factoring everything in. In fact, Brian's comment here, tripping over dollars to save pennies. And that's my main point, so.
Now, Mr. World Traveler of all places fun.
Yeah, right.
Outside of the US, when it comes to sublimation, where does Sawgrass line up with other things? is, because that's thing is like, we're talking with Rhonda there down in Australia and they're having these
Mhm.
converted inks there. I don't know, where Sawgrass falls in line in the
Yeah.
rest of the world.
Yeah. And that is the problem. Sawgrass clouded the issue here in the United States, um, because of the patents and all of that kind of stuff. So it makes this conversation very difficult in the United States because of that fact. So, but at the same time, you want to understand the tools that are there. So in the US, you really couldn't buy a third party ink and printer and have somebody that was selling it as sublimation ink until recently. I think Sawgrass stopped claiming that they were going to sue everybody, a couple of years back is when they finally stopped kind of throwing the fact that they had a patent around. So overseas, people were offering systems and they were offering systems. It was still a third party ink with a printer, but those folks were testing it, getting it all the stuff, getting all that stuff, and going from there. And they were making the whole system and selling it to you, kind of thing. So at least that's what I saw when I was over there. So now, again, when I was over there probably wasn't a whole lot of sublimation on my mind at the time because I wasn't involved in sublimation when I was traveling overseas a lot. So,
Oh, well, yeah, I was just thinking that, is we always think, here's our little bubble, but as far as globally, there's a lot of ink out there, so it's all going somewhere. And so I was just wondering if more of it was, if we are more Sawgrass is here and has this tight hold on the U.S. and this is how it should be done. When you look at collectively across the globe, that most people are using, converted things or something other than a Sawgrass. So I didn't know what you knew about that.
apparently we've found the we found some interesting characters. So anyhow, to answer that question, Todd, yeah, I think that there was some now again, Sawgrass is over there, that they had supposedly a global patent and some of that kind of stuff. So yes, everything's going to be a little bit different. And so I guess I'm not real sure how to kind of continue from here. Christine did say you can find this issue in almost every industry. People who buy cheap thread and wonder why their embroidery production numbers are bad. People who buy cheap ink and wonder why their print are bad. I've written about this before. Do the math and make sure it's the right decision. And again, that goes back to what I'm saying. I'm not against it at all. You need to, as businesses, we have to save money where we can save money. I just want you to make sure that you're thinking about it from a big picture standpoint, not oh, well, this is, only $200, so I'm going to go with that. Hold on a second. Make sure that you've done all the math and done all of the homework to know what the differences are. So
yeah, I think you can go. I mean, we could carry this conversation on for hours. I mean, we could probably do 24 hours of sublimation contract, and there. And it really comes down to I think to this is, if you want something that's plug in, print, press, done, Sawgrass is great for it. You're not going to compete with that on an Epson side because there's too many variables involved in it. The ink, the paper, everything with it. You're gonna if you go into it knowing that you're gonna have to work at it a little bit harder, then you're at least with the right mindset. All too often I've seen people that have done it and said this doesn't work, and well, what if you did? I just put in the ink, and well, then yeah, it's just not going to work. You have to do a little more behind it. The continuous ink systems was the biggest issue that I seen that a lot of people had, where they just didn't have it mounted right, so it was picking up air, and air and printer lines don't work. So yeah, it was. There's always something with it. Will I ever go to Sawgrass? No, because I figure, like you said, if I'm spending that kind of money on it, I'm just going to go with a 24-inch printer because even with that, the original Epson inks are amazing. And they're amazing inks, and the price of them is great too. So there's no real reason to switch off of it. Then you go to the 44s, kind of the same thing. If you're using a third-party ink, most of them are made for that. You're using a sublimation printer. You're not converting a printer that wasn't made for sublimation. You're using a sublimation printer, and I think that's the big thing too. Using the right tool for the job, as you said. Printers weren't made for it, so you have to know that they're not going to last. One could last 3 years or 3 months. There's no rhyme or reason when its time is going to go.
Sure,
but eventually something's going to happen with it.
Yeah. And with the other printers, the purpose-built printers, you can have the same thing. So it definitely could be one or the other. Again, for me, I want to have that support. I want to have one neck to choke. At the end of the day, it kind of boils down to that. If somebody's gonna have to help me out, I want to know who I'm talking to, because I've seen all too often that's the printer's issue. Well, no, you put third-party ink in it, so you voided your warranty, and that's not legal, and but by the time you've had that fight back and forth, that big job that you needed to get out is long gone and off to the next person up the street that had a printer that was ready to go.
Yeah.
So, that's my, gosh, I had props and everything, Todd. I felt really good about this.
Yeah. Now you don't feel so hot, do you?
I don't know. I thought I did all right. I thought we did okay. I want to go back to the fact that the other fact is people probably think I'm like this big Sawgrass fanboy. I think Sawgrass does just fine. I mean, they've obviously put a lot of time and money. And at one point, when I actually went and visited their facility, they had 3 massively paid PhDs on staff, chemists. So it's, so they put some effort into it. But at the same time, if you start doing the math on how much their inks cost, you kind of wonder about that at a certain stage. Apparently they had to pay those chemists somehow, and it was with the ink costs. So
it's just like anything else, hey, while you have that patent, make as much money as you can, because once it expires, or once you no longer are the sole owner and you can't do it, the market's going to be flooded with it. So make it while you can. When I first learned about Sawgrass, the first name that I heard them called was Suegrass, actually, because they were just out suing everybody. But Kelly was listening from the other room. I like patents. Yes. She's 4 now, 4 or 5.
Nice. Awesome. Congratulations. That's awesome. Let's see here. I had a very long and educational conversation with Joseph Tavar about why the heads go out and the actual science mechanics of it all. That's cool. Yeah.
I expect a report from Valerie on that.
Yeah. It's kind of like a term paper. Is that what you're looking for? That kind of.
I just need the Cliff Notes version.
Okay.
We'll let that slide. But she's got to do it on video, because we're getting her outside of her comfort zone. So
there you go.
Video on why this should happen.
Nice. Awesome. All right, Todd. Well, I think that's good. Hour and 13 minutes in. We've had some trolls as well, so that was always fun. And so good times. Oh, here we go. Kelly says 4 and 1 more on the way. Sweet.
Yes.
High five, Kelly. Good job. All right, Todd. What do we miss? Anything?
I don't think so. I think we got
what's coming up here.
Fun stuff coming up. Who do you have on 2 regular guys on Friday?
On Friday, we have Charlie Tablieb. So I should have just put his name up and see if everybody could pronounce it. It took me a long time to actually be able to pronounce it correctly. But it's Charlie Tablieb, and Charlie is a longtime screen printer, heavy into specialty inks and specialty types. If you've ever been to one of Charlie's seminars live, it's kind of reminds me of like a Gallagher show where you have to wear the raincoat because somehow you're going to get ink on yourself. And whenever I do a seminar after Charlie in the same room, I always know to show up about 15 minutes earlier than I normally do. So that way I can clean up everything and be able to actually not be covered in ink by the end of it. So anyhow, Charlie's a great guy. Looking forward to talking to Charlie. And my guess is that I will sit back and listen to Terry and Charlie have the discussion about screen printing in the 70s, basically. So, yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. Plus, we have Jamar and Josh from Impressions Expo joining us to talk about what they've got coming up for 2021. So that's happening Friday over at tworegularguys.com at 10 a.m. Central Time.
Nice.
And then let's see here on Saturday morning.
Before you get that far, I did see. Is there be a cocktail party on Friday? Because it is the third Friday this Friday.
I do not have it on the schedule, and we've got Masters of Success on Friday, so we'll have a cocktail at the end of that.
Do we have one this Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. Oh yeah, because that's halfway. Yeah, because that was the thing. It would be after we'd go straight from that into there. So
we had a pretty low turnout last time, and so I felt like it's just time to take a break for a while. We'll wait until people are really excited about it. So we are going to have a Come As You Will Be party for our success group members in January. So look for that. We'll start sharing some details of that, and that will be a big blowout kind of cocktail party, but also just fun opportunity to get together virtually and dream big, so to speak. So
very nice.
Yeah. So yes, Valerie, to answer your question, no cocktail party. So
no cocktail for her.
Yeah, but we do have Masters of Success, Valerie. So we'll see you there.
I'll drink with her if she wants. If that's all.
Yeah, exactly. We can just do a last minute. I do not have anything planned. Okay, we'll leave it at that. And then on Saturday morning, week 6 of the Success Principles training, where we go through a video from Jack Canfield, and then we discuss it. This is going to be talking about setting up your breakthrough goal. That big goal, that goal that makes you feel really uncomfortable, but once you reach it, it changes everything in your life. So,
at 8:00.
That is at 8:00. Yes. So I'm back to 8:00. I'm going to leave it at 8:00 for as long as I can. And so we'll be back to 8:00. Basically, I changed it because Todd said 12:30 was tough for him, and so that's I set my schedule around what's good for Todd.
Sweet. Also, Saturday, I did not know if you saw this or not, but our dear friend there, Kelly, is going to start crystallizing a car on Saturday.
Really? Cool.
She's doing another car. She's going to be live streaming that on their YouTube, their Twitch, I think across all their platforms.
Wow, cool.
Live stream that, so they've got a Fiat that they're going to crystallize. So, in fact, I do believe there's a Christmas present for Corey is headed out there to have some fun with that. So I think that's still in the works.
You're getting Corey a Fiat that's been crystallized for Christmas?
No, she's going out there.
To
go out there to help or watch or I don't know. Just hey, but Merry Christmas, get out of here.
Yeah.
But then I think from there, I think Kelly's sending it to. She sent it to auction. Where it's going to auction, I don't know. If it's going eBay, if it's going Barrett Jackson, right. I haven't made it that.
And then Todd's going to buy it for Corey for Christmas. That's awesome, Todd.
So the Porsche, what'd that go for? 125,000, I think, something like that. I'm sure, Kelly will tell us how much the Porsche went for. And I love Corey, but I mean, come on, I'm getting something fun before that. But whatever.
Yeah. Yes. Kelly says, yeah, send her. And it's going to be on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch all live.
Yep.
That'll be sweet. Cool. All right. So check that out over there at the Crystal Ninja, and see what she's got going on Saturday. And then I am jumping in a car and heading to Hilton Head. I was trying to remember. Oh, there we go. There's the price for the Porsche. $110,000. So I will be out except for our success group training next Wednesday. I'm all set up for that. I'll be able to do that remote. I've actually already got the room. I've already talked to the folks that we're going to stay with and got a room and the internet so should be all good. Like I never left. So I'm looking forward to that on Wednesday night. And so I think that's about it.
Yeah.
Everybody hopefully starting to pick up, get busy, fourth quarter stuff happening. So, get out there, but stay connected too, so don't go away. Yeah. Sorry that we're not having the cocktail party. We'll figure out something though.
Yeah, if you just want to drink with me, whatever, maybe I'll
Yeah,
just.
I was gonna say I'll send Todd my Zoom if you guys really need it. And yeah.
I think with Zoom we can do whatever. Maybe we'll see. We'll see.
All right.
We'll see. That's Friday. That's a long way away.
Yeah. So, all right, cool. Todd, I think we've covered it all. Then now we've gotten to an hour and 20 minutes. So
right, that's how we do it.
Good times for sure. And let's see here. Oh, I guess last quick thing that I wanted to make sure that I shared. If you have not signed up for the success tracker yet, please do that.
Yes.
It for $25, it's an investment worth making. If you're an OSG member, it's only $1. But for $25, it's an investment worth making because we help teach you how to set goals. We give you accountability. So just the swag you're going to get alone covers the cost of the $25. But that's not what it's all about. That's the tangible touch and feel thing. What it's about is building the confidence that you can reach a goal that makes you uncomfortable, that pushes you, that stretches you. So, we're getting a lot of things about growing your business and all this other stuff, but you can use this same process and same system. You want to lose 10 pounds or what, anything you want to do, we'll be there to support you. So it's a great system. We give you a step-by-step guide of what to do and how to do it. Plus we check in. You're going to have cheerleaders along the way. Once you reach milestones, you're going to have, I don't have mine on me right now, but I normally carry my little coin with me everywhere that I go as I'm trying to reach my goals. So, anyhow, I'm always curious to know what's holding people back from making that $25 investment. It just boggles my mind sometimes. So
that is true. I do commend you there because you're getting more comfortable with just asking for the sale. Good job there, buddy.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
That.
Yeah, Missy said the goal you've put off for the last 2 years. So,
yeah,
there you go. So yeah, just put it out there because here's the other little insider tip for everybody here. And Todd, you are familiar with this. In fact, you're the reason that I finally got off my duff and got to it. Is once you start putting it out there, then guess what? It's going to happen. It's got to happen because you've put it out there. My digital marketing superhero, I talked about that for years. And, finally, I happened to mention it in front of you. That was my downfall. You held me accountable and we went from there and our success group was born. So,
and speaking of that, then yes, 2 weeks ago, I did say I was going to have the 365 days of content ready to roll. And it is technically ready to roll. There is 365 days of content. But as I was doing more of it and going through it, I think I kind of felt like it needed more stuff. I wanted to have, here's the months that this is good for. Here's the weeks that these are good for. So this is going to be a fun pet project here that it'll go on sale soon. Let's say next Friday for Black Friday. We're just put that out there. We'll figure out pricing out there, but you're going to have content daily that you'll be able to choose from, monthly things, weekly things, like National Whatever Appreciation Week it is, National Awareness Month. You'll have all that wrapped up into one little nice, neat package. Pre-order, go through there. It'll start January 1st. So January 1st, 2021. And then one day, every day, you'll have something there that you'll be able to use for a piece of content. And I'm going to keep building to this up until January 1. So once you buy it, you'll have it, and then it'll keep organically or keep growing because I'm going to keep adding more stuff to it. And, then come January 1st, you're set, ready to roll. So that was done. And now I just add more to it. Why not?
There you go. Cool. All right. Well, I'm going to throw this out there because as you mentioned, I think it's really cool. You shared it with me. I think it's awesome. I think you put in a ton of work. That I'm going to leave this be your project, Todd. So this is all yours. You come up with the price, you do all that stuff. I mean, I'm certainly happy to answer any questions and try to help where I can. But when you guys see this thing, make sure that you're patting Todd on the back. He's put in all the work on this, and he's going to bring this thing to fruition. I told him today it's up to him to execute on this one.
It's going to be one of those things where, here's the price of it. Of course, we'll have a discounted price on it, and if you're an OSG member, you're going to have your price that's going to be less than that. So we'll take care of those that take care of us, and for everybody else, hey, sign up and you're going to save some money.
Yeah.
So,
there we go.
I
love it.
I'll have the majority of it done, the package, but then at least it was kind of like, when we did the original 5 keys, because that once again is starting up in January as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, start looking for us to promote that more. But here's the general idea about it. I've got phase 1 day, and it was making sure I had something every day. And there's a lot of days where there wasn't really anything that I'm like, what's this? So I had to kind of go and search some other places, and then that's when I realized, if I had, it's this month or it's this week, then that could fall in this place of things. And some days there is multiple things, and you could go different ways with it. And a lot of it on that content side is just asking questions, asking people, what do you think of this, or where's the best place to find this? Because I've found, when you source things locally, when you start those fun conversations, who has the best pizza, where can I find the best cook? You're going to have other businesses recommended, and it creates that community niche. And guess what? That stuff starts to travel and creates engagement. So it was more about, hey, what can we do to kind of just make sure you had something every day if you needed a piece of content.
That's awesome. I'm looking forward to it, and everybody out there should be looking forward to it as well. As you said, it'll be out there. It'll be discount. Masters of Success folks. Todd, we're going to give it to them.
Yep, they're going to
get it. And then so that leads me real quickly into, we will be opening up our enrollment period for the next round of Masters of Success groups starting in December. So yes. we're by the time we get back for the next Q&A, that enrollment will be open. It'll open up on December 1st. If you have any questions about it, we've got folks here that are in the current Masters of Success group. Missy and Valerie are both in it. I'm not sure if I saw anybody else. I think Sandy may have popped in earlier. Nan, my wife Kylene. Who'd I miss? I know I just missed some. Tina Meads from Wagon Wheel. So I'm sure any of them would be happy to answer any questions for you about it. And they're an amazing group. So, they're bringing a ton to the table, but I think we've got a really good formula that's going to really do some good for a lot of people. So I'm looking forward to growing the Masters of Success family come December.
Yeah, I think everything that I've seen so far through it, it's been great. It's been a great thing to see and how it's evolved. And look, they had their own today. Like you said, it was one from a half an hour to 3 hours. So think about that. Something as simple as, hey, somebody wanted to try something, and now everybody rallied around, and hey, 3 hours, good for them.
Yep. It's like gaining 4 to 6 business partners that, that aren't looking for profit. They're just looking to support each other, So it's really cool. It's really fantastic. And I'm super proud of all of them. So looking forward to that on Friday night. And then, like I said, open enrollment starting in December for that. So in fact, let's see if I've got it here. Yeah. If you'd like to be the first one to know when enrollment opens up, we'll send an email out to everybody that's signed up here. So oursuccessgroup.com/MOS, and that's where enrollment will occur. But as soon as we make that page live, we'll send an email out to everybody that's signed up from that page right now. So, Valerie says, you fellas should be scared. We're taking you guys down. Absolutely. That's the whole point.
I kind of like the other thinking. We're bringing them up.
We're bringing them up. They're taking us down. And Misty says, yeah, exactly. I have a team backing me now. That's a great way to put it, Missy. Thank you for sharing that. And honestly, Valerie, that's the other thing that I love about this group is that I see the amazing potential. Our goal, my big goal, Todd, inside our success group, and I know you have similar goals, but other things too that are building. But 1,000 people in the Masters of Success program, and that means that you and I can't run 1,000 people's worth of groups. So we need people. So these initial folks, you're going to get on the ground floor and have another way to participate in the Our Success Group community. So, oh boy, we're making shirts. I love it.
Like their bowling team. This is great.
It is truly amazing and inspiring. So, and if we want to go bowling, one day we'll go bowling again.
When something's doing good when somebody decides to say we need shirts for that. So as soon as they say we need shirts for that, it's working out good.
Yeah, totally. All right, I think that's it. Kylene rocked it today. We bonded over our businesses and what we each bring to the table.
Awesome.
So that's cool. That's really cool. All right, Todd. Cool. Well, let's see. Should we change the view so we can make this somewhat less awkward? There.
Oh.
Right there.
I gotta go right here.
Yeah, really. We can go back to the big view. Hold on.
The big view.
There.
I know it's right there.
Okay.
Right there.
High five. Good job. Thanks, everybody. We appreciate y'all tuning in, and we will see you back in 2 weeks on December 2nd.
See you guys.
I believe it's going to be December. Holy cow.
Yeah.
See you later.